When was last time Vasudha read Jaiva-Dharma? When was last time you read Jaiva-Dharma? When was last time you read Jaiva-Dharma?
When?
Huh? First chapter. How many years you've been reading that for? How many years you've been reading it for? Is it there? Can you see? Gurave Gaurachandra Radhika Tadali Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Namo Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Adwaita Gadadha Shivasadi Gaurabhaktavanya Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare Hare. So first of all, I offer pranams to our Gurudev, Vishnupada Danti Swami Sri Bhaktivedanta, Narayan Gosai Maharaj, all our Rupanuga Guru Parampara, all Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis, Dandavat pranams. So we are starting second chapter, Jaiva-Dharma. Just a quick note, today is also the day Chira Danda Mahotsav, the festival of the punishment festival. Okay, so devotees like punishment. One who gets punishment of Bhagavan or Vaishnav, they think I am successful. But Srila Gauramai said that punishment is not easily achieved. So we just quickly hear the life story of Raghunath Goswami. Many times he tried to run from home, even though his parents were wealthy like Indra. He had a supremely attractive wife, affectionate parents, land, wealth. But because his heart was stolen by Lord Chaitanya, these things did not attract him. But every time he tried to run away from home, he was captured by his parents, who had employed many guards. But finally, he got a chance to visit Lord Chaitanya after sannyas, when Lord Chaitanya was heading towards Navadvip from Puri. Mahaprabhu came to the village of Raghunath Goswami that is called Adi Saptagram. There Mahaprabhu gave some instructions to Raghunath. Stir hao, gare jao, naho batul, krame krame, Krishna tava bhava sindhu. Don't be like a mad person. Market vairagya na kore lokana dekan yata yog visaya bunj anashakta. Don't be like a mad person. Do not practice monkey renunciation. Means do not make an external show of renunciation like a monkey. Better to remain, go back home, fix your mind in Krishna. Outside, behave like a normal person and enjoy the things of this world in an unattached way. Means offer first to Bhagavan and take the remnants. So Raghunath accepted the instructions of Lord Chaitanya. He returned home, and for 1 year he behaved like a normal person. His parents slackened their guard, but again he would try to escape, and again he was captured like this. So finally he got a chance to visit Nityananda Prabhu. When he went to visit Nityananda Prabhu, he came to the place of Panihati, that is like a suburb of Calcutta. Have you been there? It's like a suburb of Calcutta, actually. One branch of the Ganga is there. So Nityananda was sitting underneath one banyan tree, that is near the house. Nityananda was staying in the house of Raghav Pandit. If you go to Panihati, the house of Raghav Pandit is nearby. When the devotees saw Raghunath giving pranam, they said, "Oh, look, Nityananda, that is Raghunath giving pranam." Then Nityananda called Raghunath and called him a thief. You are trying to steal the property. A thief is someone who steals the property of someone else. You are trying to get the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya who belong to me, Nityananda said. So a thief needs a punishment. So Nityananda gave the punishment, you have to feed all my associates. Of course, this is not really punishment, this is blessing. One will definitely get all good fortune if he gets a chance to serve the Vaishnavas. By serving Vaishnavas, all obstacles in spiritual life are destroyed. So saying like that, Raghunath collected so much. He had brought so much money and helpers from his father's house. So he collected so much flat rice. They call chira. Some call poa in Gujarati, but same thing. And yogurt. So he collected big clay pots, huge 6, I think. And he collected in the 6 clay pots, he soaked so much flat rice and milk. And as well, he collected so many bananas, so many mangoes, so many condensed milk, sugar, camphor, many things he collected. If you read Caitanya Charitamrita. So anyway, they mixed everything together. All Vaishnavas were given 2 pots, 2 little cups. 1 cup had flat rice and milk. The other one had yogurt and all this stuff mixed together. Everyone had 2 pots. But so many Vaishnavas and people came, there was no room to sit. So many people would stand in the Ganga with their pots. But no one began eating because Nityananda Prabhu had not eaten first. And Nityananda does not eat anything without offering it to Lord Chaitanya. So in meditation, he offered to Lord Chaitanya, who came, but nobody could see. Nityananda Prabhu could see, of course. Some devotees could also see who got the mercy of Nityananda. So Raghunath Das could also see Lord Chaitanya there, but ordinary person could not. How Nityananda was taking the offering and putting in the mouth of Lord Chaitanya like this, but nobody could see that, just saw Nityananda doing like this. So in this way, Mahaprabhu fed Nityananda. Nityananda also fed Mahaprabhu. All Vaishnavas took prasad. Also Raghunatha Goswami afterwards, he also did many secret services. You know? So anyway, at the end, he satisfied everyone. He also gave some certain amount of gold and so many gold coins to the treasurer of Nityananda Prabhu through Raghav Pandit. You know, each devotee should get this much donation. And he gave cloth, many things he did. He satisfied all the Vaishnavas. When Vaishnavas are satisfied, Supreme Lord is satisfied. You know, so Nityananda blessed him that he would have no more obstacles. And so next time when he tried to escape, his guru was Yadunandanacharya. I think Yadunandanacharya was disciple of Anantacharya, who was disciple of Gadadhar Pandit. Like this, some parampara was there. The pujari had left the seva, so Yadunandan called Raghunath to call the pujari back to his service. But Raghunath did pranam and took a chance to escape, and he ran to Jagannath Puri. There Mahaprabhu accepted him and put him under the shelter of Sri Sarup Damodar Goswami. And there Raghunath showed how to do bhajan. So he is our Prayojan Acharya. So today we remember that Danda Mahotsav. We'll also do something here. So I heard one story once, Gurudev, he woke up in the middle of the night and he was moving in his room and he began eating some peanuts and some snack that he had, and he was eating that in the middle of the night. And Gurudev never did that. Then someone asked, why you were eating in the middle of the night? Then Gurudev said he had this dream also. He was there at Panihati. Nityananda was just about to give him his share of prasad when the dream disappeared. Then Gurudev woke up, feeling sad that he ate something like this. Separation. Okay, so we remember the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu. A little bit here, this Jaiva-Dharma. Request after every day's class, people read this Jaiva-Dharma, because you hear, and then you read, then you can understand. Okay. So, chapter 2, I also read a few times. Chapter 1 again, very wonderful instructions. There's Sannyasi Thakur, just a little bit, 5 minutes we spend on chapter 1 again. Sannyasi Thakur was Mayavadi. He had reached the 4th stage of life, Paramhamsa, but he had seen a Vaishnav, as that Vaishnav was chanting Sri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Adwaita Gadadha Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. He felt so much ecstasy, but because he had taken a vow of silence, he could not talk with that devotee. So afterwards he felt very bad why I did not talk to him, because he felt such an ecstasy that he never felt, despite many years of practicing impersonalism. He searched everywhere for the Vaishnav, could not meet him, went to Vrindavan. All the devotees there were lamenting, Jai Rup, Jai Sanatan, Jai Navadvip. So he came to Navadvip and met with Sri Paramahamsa Das Babaji Maharaj. Babaji Maharaj, he asked some questions. If Dharma is one, why many people describe Dharma in many ways? What is Dharma? So very wonderfully, Babaji Maharaj described every object. An object is called a vastu. Vas means to sit. That place where qualities sit, that is called a vastu. So every object or vastu is identified by its qualities. Therefore, it has a nature according to its constitution. So the Jivatma has a constitution of being eternally the servant of Krishna. He explained Krishna as the Chit Vastu, he the Vasta Vastu, the eternal and factual object. There are two types of Vastus. One is the Vasta Vastu, something which is eternal, and the Avasta Vastu, an object which is temporary. Krishna is the supreme Vasta Vastu. A portion of that Vasta Vastu is the Jiva, and his energy and the material world, Maya, is his energy. So when we discuss the absolute truth, it means understanding the Jiva, the Bhagavan, as well as the Jiva, as well as Maya. So he described the Jiva as minute, like spark from a fire. Also, it's a special creation of Krishna's potency called the Tatastha Shakti. The Tatastha Jiva has the power to live in the material world and the spiritual world. Can contact matter even though he is not material. The fully conscious entity Krishna never contacts the material world, and the material world is jarred, inert, has no consciousness. And the Tatastha Jiva is a Jiva which can live in the material world because he's forgotten Krishna, he's forgotten his Sarup, and is suffering in this world. So all these things we heard, the Jiva has a pure Dharma to serve Krishna. When that is covered, comes in contact with the material world, it experiences a nisarga, a temporary or apparent transformation of nature or consciousness. So all these things we heard in first chapter. So second chapter, I actually prepared, made some notes, which I never do. So everyone can make little notes and read every day. One chapter like that, very nice. Only 40 chapters in Jaiva-Dharma. So theoretically, we should finish in just a few weeks. Of course, some chapters are more long. So, Sannyasi Thakur, he wanted to ask some questions, but he could not the next day because Paramahamsa Babaji absorbed in chanting Harinam. So towards the afternoon, after they had done some madhukari, collecting some foodstuffs from here and there. So in the afternoon, but Sannyasi Thakur came and did pranam, and very respectfully asked, "Oh Prabhu, no, I have two questions. If the jiva is anu chit vastu, if the individual soul is very minute consciousness, then how can it be said his dharma or nature is complete and perfect if he is very small? And second question, if the jiva is created, then how can it be said that his dharma or function is eternal?" So these two questions. Spiritual life is always based on questions. Like Arjuna, 16 questions to Krishna, that is Bhagavad Gita. The sages of Namisaranya, 6 questions to Sutta Goswami. So spiritual life based on some question. So 2 questions. If Jiva is small, how his dharma can be complete? And number 2, if the Jiva is created, how can it be said his dharma is eternal? Okay. So Babaji, Paramahamsa Das, Babaji Maharaj meditated on the feet of Lord Chaitanya and answered, "Oh, yes, the jiva is minute, but by the grace of Krishna, his Shakti is complete." Therefore gave example like fire. If Krishna is the source and the origin of the jiva, then Krishna is like a fire, and the jiva is like a spark of fire. So the difference between a spark and a fire is qualitatively they are the same, but difference in quantity. Krishna is Vibhu Chaitanya, unlimited consciousness, and the Jiva is Anu Chaitanya, minute consciousness, atomic consciousness. But the nature is the same. Therefore, the spark, if it gets some proper fuel, some proper environment, enough fuel, one spark can burn the entire world. If it gets enough to eat, the fire can burn the whole world. So the jiva, his consciousness, his dharma can manifest, but needs the proper object or fuel. So what is the object which can ignite the dharma, manifest the dharma of the jiva? That is only Krishna. Because we have forgotten Krishna in this world, then dharma is not manifest. Okay. So let little read what Bhaktivinoda Thakur says directly. The jiva is infinitesimal, but his dharma is full and eternal. Minuteness is only a trait by which the jiva is identified. Parabrahma Sri Krishna is the one and only infinite Brihadvastu, and the jivas are his innumerable atomic particles, like sparks from a fire. The jivas emanate from Krishna, who is the embodiment of unchangeable consciousness, immutable consciousness. Just as every spark is endowed with the potency of the complete fire, so each and every jiva is capable of displaying the full function of consciousness. Okay? So he says a single jiva who loves Krishna can flood the entire world with love of Krishna. But as long as the jiva fails to contact the real object of love, then the dharma beside the object of his dharma, then the jiva cannot manifest his real nature. Okay? So everyone is servant of Krishna but cannot meet Krishna, therefore it not manifest. Bhaktivinoda Gurudev would give the example like ice. Ice in its natural state is liquid. If you put it in the freezer, it takes on an opposite nature of being immobile and hard. But if you take it out of the freezer and put it again in room temperature, again it reverts to its natural state. So the jiva again contacts sadhusang, Harinam, Ekadasi, all these things, then its natural dharma again manifests. Okay? So, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, the jiva has two states, Suddha, pure, and the Badavastha, Suddhavastha and Badavastha. Pure condition and conditioned. Conditioned. Bada means bound. Pure condition and bound condition. Okay. So jiva has two states, Suddha and Bada. So when the jiva is pure, then the dharma is spotlessly displayed. But when he is contaminated by involvement with maya, the true nature of the jiva becomes perverted. He becomes impure, bereft of shelter, and becomes oppressed by mundane happiness and distress. As soon as the jiva forgets Krishna, then material existence begins. So as long as the jiva remains pure, he maintains his identity and self-conception as being a pure spiritual entity. His innate and original egoism is always that he is a servant of Krishna. Okay. But when the pure jiva is covered by the gross of the subtle and the gross body, then the egoism becomes perverted. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur says there, original ego of the soul. Who am I? Jivera Swarupa Hoy Krishna Nitya. I am Krishna's servant. So this pure ego that is pure. But when that pure ego becomes covered by subtle body, then he thinks I'm the enjoyer. Another ego manifests, an opposite ego. So original ego, I am the servant of Krishna. When the jiva covered by the subtle body, another ego comes, I am the enjoyer. And then the gross body covers that. Then another mentality comes, I am king, I am woman, I am happy, I am sad, I am poor, I am good looking, I am ugly. So, actually, Srila Gokul explained, the jiva is pure when he turns away from Krishna. That time he has a desire to enjoy Maya, to enjoy separately. How can he enjoy? That is false, because he is not an enjoyer, he's a servant. That as soon as he turns away from Krishna and desires to enjoy this world, he needs a material body and a material identity. Otherwise, the soul cannot fulfill his desires. So the first covering of the jiva, that is called the Chaitanya, Chitta, like Mahaprabhu said in Shikshastakam, Cheto Dapana Majana Mahadabhagni Nivapana. So the first covering of the soul is called the Chitta. It's like a sheet of glass. Sheet of glass, like if there's a sheet of glass, we can see you, you can see me, but cannot touch. So the jiva is the first covering of the jiva is Chitta. And on that covering of the Chitta comes the false ego and the enjoyer, then the subtle body, the intelligence, the mind, then the earth, water, fire, air, ether, the gross body, as well as the five senses of perception, the Jnanindriya, seeing, smelling, tasting, hearing, touch, the five Karmindriya, the senses of action. These all rest on the Chitta. So as soon as he just turns away from Krishna, he's covered by illusion. He develops another entity, another egoism. Instead of thinking, I am the servant, he thinks, I'm the enjoyer. Therefore, in the beginning of devotion, that bhakti is called bhuta, it's called guna bhut bhakti. Because covered, even though we're doing bhakti, still trying to enjoy Thakurji, enjoy Vaishnavas, enjoy prasad, all these things. So, in his pure spiritual form, the jiva is exclusively a servant of Krishna. But when the jiva identifies with the subtle body, his original pure egoism of being a servant of Krishna is also covered. And he thinks he can enjoy the fruits of his action. He then attains a gross body and thinks, I am a Brahmana, I am a king, I am poor, I am miserable, I am a diseased person, I am a woman, I am the master of this person. He then identifies himself with many different types of bodily gross conceptions. When the jiva associates with these different types of false egos, his constitutional position becomes perverted. The intrinsic constitutional function of the jiva is unalloyed prema, or love of Krishna. This prema now manifests in a perverted way in the subtle body in the form of happiness and distress, attachment and aversion. This perversion then becomes more concentrated in the gross body as the pleasures of eating, drinking, sleeping, and contacting the sense objects. You should understand clearly that the eternal function of the jiva, known as Nitya dharma, is manifest only in his pure state. Therefore, the jiva is always a pure servant of Krishna. That is his Nitya siddha bhava. Now it's become covered, and by Shravan and Kirtan, hearing and chanting, again it becomes awakened, but it's always there. So, where has this been described? This pure dharma of the soul, Jaiva-Dharma. Jaiva-Dharma means the dharma of the soul. Another name, it has many names. Bhagavad Dharma, Prem Dharma, Sanatan Dharma, or Vaishnav Dharma. So this Vaishnav Dharma, now he changes the word Vaishnav Dharma, is described in the Srimad Bhagavatam, and that is the eternal religion. The various types of Dharma that are spread in this world are three types: Nitya Dharma, Naimitic Dharma, and Anitya Dharma. Anitya Dharma means there's no understanding at all of the soul or the super soul. Example, Buddhism, right? For example, Scientology. Anyway, these are Anitya Dharma. And here, Bhaktivinoda Thakur digs at Buddhism a bit. And why not? So, Naimitic Dharma is superior to Anitya Dharma. Naimitic means what? Temporary. Naimitic Dharma accepts the existence of God and the soul, but they think the way to attain the mercy of God is through some provisional activity in this world, like feed the poor, give donation, do some austerity or meditation, study the scriptures. Okay? Therefore, it's called Naimitic Dharma. For example, in Islam, what are the 5 tenets of Islam? Go to Mecca, give donations, like this. No? Christianity, almost the same, serve the poor person. It's called Naimitic Dharma. And finally, Nitya Dharma, which accepts the eternality of the individual soul and the supreme soul, and how to get the mercy of Bhagavan by prema, by pure seva, by pure service. Okay, so that Nitya Dharma may be known by different names according to differences in country, race, and language. However, it is only one. The ideal example of Nitya Dharma is Vaishnav Dharma, which is now only going on in India. Of course, now it's spread everywhere. When Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote this, there was no international preaching. So the ideal example of Nitya Dharma is Vaishnav Dharma. And the perfect state of Vaishnav Dharma is what Lord Chaitanya, Sri Satchidananda Gaura Hari, preached in this world. That is the pure and perfect state of Vaishnav Dharma. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya is called Shiksha Guru. Raghunatha Goswami prayed. In the second verse of Mana Shiksha, what is that? The second verse. Anyway, he prays. Nandishwara Pate Sutatve Guru Varam Makunda Preshtape Smarajana Jasana Nomana. O Mana, always remember, O mind, always remember Lord Chaitanya who? As Shiksha Guru, Krishna pressed, very dear to Krishna, and Guru Varam, the best of spiritual masters. Why? Because Lord Chaitanya preached this pure Jaiva-Dharma, pure Vaishnava Dharma. So at this time, Sannyasi Thakur folded his hands. Yes, I'm always seeing the super excellence of this Vaishnava Dharma that Lord Chaitanya spread, but still something I don't understand. No? Is what is preached by the followers of Shankaracharya, advaita-siddhi, and Prema-siddhi, is it the same thing? No? So when Paramahamsa Babaji heard the name of Shankaracharya, he did pranam. Why? Because Mahaprabhu accepted Shankara as Guru. So he said, Shankara, Shankara Sakshat. Who is Shankaracharya? He is the direct incarnation of Lord Shiva. He gave pranam to him. For his own part, Shankaracharya was a perfect Vaishnava. And here Babaji explains, what did Shankaracharya do? He said, at that time in India was a great need for such a guna avatar. So Shiva is the guna avatar of ignorance. He's in charge of Tamagun, the presiding deity of Tamagun. So Lord Vishnu ordered Shankar to appear in this world and preach covered Buddhism. Why at that time, whole of India had become captured by Buddhism, which is an atheistic and non-Vedic religion. Actually, and most of the Vedic kings also, the Brahmanas had practically all given up their Vedic practices, karma kanda and other things. All the Brahmanas had become Buddhists, and the kings were practically supporting all of them. So the whole of India had been converted to an atheistic philosophy of Buddhism. So Shankaracharya, what did he do? At that time, the study of the Vedas and the practice of Varnashram had practically become extinct. And the whole world was captured by voidism, the philosophy of Sunyavad. Sunyavad is the philosophy everything comes from nothing. So in the stage of perfection, nothing exists. So Buddhist philosophy is vehemently, means very strongly opposed to the personal conception of Bhagavan. We are just hearing in the first chapter, the Jiva, the souls, and this world come from Bhagavan. But Buddhists do not accept that there is a cause of anything, everything comes from zero. So, even though the Buddhism partially accepts the principle as of the soul, partially, but they do not believe the soul is eternal, so it's only partial acceptance. Buddhism is an extreme example of Nitya dharma, impermanent religion. The Brahmanas had given up Vedic practices and all become Buddhists. Shankaracharya came and destroyed Buddhism. He pushed Buddhism out of India. Where did Buddhism go? Nepal, Tibet, China, Korea, Japan, like this. So he pushed it out of India. I'm in India for 27 years. How many Indian Buddhists have I met? Only one. You know who she is? I won't say. Many years in India, I only met one Indian Buddhist. If you go to the holy places like Gaya and other places, lots of Buddhists, but they're all from like Thailand or from Korea. Indian Buddhists cannot find, very hard. That is the work of Shankaracharya. He proved that Buddhism is an atheistic and many, many faults are there in Buddhism. So he proved this and pushed it out of India. And he re-established the Vedas. No? And converted the Sunyavad doctrine of voidism into the Brahmavad philosophy of Advaitavad. So anyway, we don't want to too much talk about all this stuff, but he pushed out Buddhism and established the philosophy of Brahmavad. Brahmavad means there is an absolute truth, but it's featureless. It has no name, no form, no qualities like this. means no material name, no material form, no material qualities, no material activities. Like this. Therefore, the whole of India always remains indebted to Shankaracharya. So, Shankaracharya laid the foundation of what the future acharyas like Ramanuja would later establish Sudha Bhakti. Vaishnavas are now reaping the fruit of Shankaracharya's philosophical precepts. So, Babaji said there are many similarities between the philosophy of Shankaracharya and the philosophy of Vaishnavism. Both Shankaracharya and the Vaishnavas accept that the Jiva is a sentient piece of consciousness, and they are completely different from the gross and subtle bodies. That is both in Shankaracharya and Vaishnavism. The soul is different from the mind and body. And also that the Jivas are eternal, and that liberation means giving up all connection with matter. There's so much similarity between the followers of Shankaracharya and the followers of Vaishnavism. Shankaracharya even preached that one can achieve liberation by the worship of Hari. One can achieve freedom from matter by worshipping Bhagavan. So many similarities remain. Only Shankaracharya remained silent. What happens to the jiva after liberation? He remained quiet. Shankaracharya knew if the jivas could think we will get liberation by worshipping Hari, then by worshipping Hari to get liberation, they would automatically become attracted by bhajanananda, by the happiness of worshipping Krishna. And thus they would gradually become pure devotees. That's why he simply talked about liberation but did not speak what happens after liberation. He remained silent. He did not reveal further confidential secrets of Vaishnava Dharma. Those who scrutinize the commentaries of Shankaracharya can understand his inner intention. So, from one point of view, when the jiva, the soul, is free from all material contamination, that time he firmly established in his spiritual existence. This is called the state of Kevala Gyan or advaita-siddhi, when no other identity remains except spiritual identity. That is called advaita-siddhi, the state of non-dual consciousness. Understand? So, and what is prema? Prema is also the same thing. Prema means when there is no other consciousness except the desire to serve the beloved. So really, if you examine carefully, advaita-siddhi and prem-siddhi is the same thing. Krishna prema is the dharma by which one transcendental entity is attracted to another transcendental entity and has no other attraction. So, the philosophy of prema rests on the idea that Krishna has his own eternal separate existence and the jiva have their own eternal separate existence. Prema means, therefore, accepts there's always two. Lover and the beloved. Even this world, I love you. I love my dog. I love my house. Even this world, love has two. Who eternally accept the idea of the relisher, the relished, and the act of relishing, the taster, the tasted, the act of tasting, who accepts these three things can practice prema. Okay. Therefore, we can say that absolute oneness or advaita-siddhi is the same as prema. If we define advaita-siddhi as the pure state of a transcendental entity who has no relationship with insentient matter. Okay. So here, it says, however, the modern followers of Shankaracharya, not understanding the intention of Shankaracharya, have presented a perverted philosophy of Mayavad. Mayavad means they think advaita-siddhi means at the time of perfection they merge or become one with Paramatma or Brahma. So that is the difference. Shankaracharya established the state of non-distinction simply as the unadulterated condition of spiritual substance. Understand? Still hard language. So Mayavadis from the beginning, they say nothing exists outside the one spiritual substance of the all-pervading, non-differentiated Brahman. They claim that Brahma, or the absolute truth, is beyond Maya as long as he remains undivided and undifferentiated. No, they say we are all Bhagawan, but we are all Brahma, but Brahma became bewildered by Maya and thinks he's a Jiva. When he takes away the identity of being a Jiva, again he becomes Brahman. No, this is their philosophy of Mayavad. They give example like, I take a water pot. Inside the water pot spot is a little bit of space. If I break the water pot, then the space inside the pot merges with the space outside the pot. And there's no difference between inside and outside. In other words, the little space becomes the big space. Many material examples they give. For that reason, the Mayavadis believe Prema and its manifestations are illusionary. Even they read Bhagavatam and hear Krishna the gopis, Krishna the coward boys. Still, I think this is all illusionary. It does not really exist. Because in the stage of perfection, there's no difference between the soul and Brahma. So, Caitanya Mahaprabhu instructed this world to taste Prema. He personally taught it by his transcendental behavior and activities. This Prema is completely beyond the jurisdiction of Maya and is the highest development of the unalloyed state of advaita-siddhi, pure oneness. I guess you think Radharani, so much absorbed in Krishna, she has no other, this is oneness. The devotee fully absorbed in Radha Krishna have nothing else, that is oneness. So Mahaprabhu taught this. And the highest state of that advaita-siddhi is called mahabhava. Hladini-sakti, prem, prem, sakti, bhava, bhava, paramakasta, namadari, mahabhava. The essence of hladini-sakti is called prem. The essence of prem is called bhava. And the highest state is called mahabhava. And Caitanya Mahaprabhu tasting always this mahabhava. So Sannyasi Thakur heard everything. Oh, today my heart is pierced with the realization that I wasted my whole life in Mayavad philosophy. Maybe turn that off. Tell him to turn it off. So hearing this, he said, I want to have a strong desire to give up this dress of a Mayavad sannyasi. Then Babaji Maharaj said, no need. Then he gave the same instruction we heard this morning. Mahaprabhu told to Raghunatha Goswami, Market Vairagya na koren lokale dekan, yata yug visai bhuj anashaktahan. No need to make an external show of renunciation like monkey. Like we see the monkeys in Sevakunj, they have no clothes, no pockets. Where do they keep all their food? Yeah. No need to make an external show of renunciation. When the time comes, automatically you will adopt what is perfect and good for you. So Sannyasi Thakur, he understood no need to change anything so much externally. No, I just have to hear Harikatha. Like Gurudev would say, if we come to Gurudev when we're brahmachari, stay brahmachari. If we come to Gurudev when we're married, stay married. If we come to Gurudev as sannyasi, stay sannyasi. No need to change anything external. Because external change means no change at all. We have to change inside. So, then last question. We've almost finished. Babaji Maharaj, Sannyasi Thakur asked a very nice question. If Dharma is one, how should I see all other religions? This is very important, especially if you have to preach. Of course, many different people we meet. So if we try to answer like Bhaktivinoda Thakur answered, we will never offend anyone. So Babaji Maharaj said, oh Mahatma, Dharma is one, not two. The Jivas have one Dharma. It is known as Vaishnava Dharma. Difference of language, country, or race cannot create difference in Dharma. The Jaiva-Dharma is the constitutional function of the Jiva, and all Jivas have the same nature. People may give it different names, but they cannot create a different constitutional function. Like an example, like water, in Russian, voda, in Spanish is agua, English, water, Bengali, jal, Hindi, pani. Many, many names, but same thing. So differences in language, differences in religion and culture and race cannot create different religion. Okay. Jaiva-Dharma is the unadulterated spiritual love, or Prem Dharma, that the tiny living entity has for the infinite living entity. Actually, Guru Maharaj gave example, like a spark come from a fire, but that spark may go into some grass and make an even bigger fire than the original fire. So even though the Jiva is minute, he may develop so much prem, he can even control Krishna, the original fire. That is possible. That is why, okay, so one time, Babaji Maharaja said, I associate with Sanatana Goswami. And the same question he asked, but in a different way. So try to hear. I submitted a similar question to the feet of Sanatana Goswami. I asked him, in Islam, they use the word ishq, which means pure love. So is this ishq in what they describe in the writings of the Sufis or the writings of Islam, is this pure prema or is it something else? Sanatana Goswami, remember, he was born in Brahmin family, but many years he spent in the Muslim government. So he knew Arabic, he knew Farsi. Farsi is like Iranian language. So he was also a vast scholar in all the Muslim scriptures also. That time, Rupa Goswami and Jiva Goswami also in that assembly. So Paramahamsa Babaji, how fortunate. We should not think this Jaiva-Dharma is just some story. Guru Maharaj said this is all real. How Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he sees everything by his meditation. So Guru Maharaj said, don't think this is just some story, this is also real. So Sanatana Goswami answered, yes, the word ishq means love. But the practices of Islam do not use love in relationship to love of Ishwara or God. But they generally mean love in the sense of worldly love. Islamic religious teachers have not been able to understand the true conception or the pure spiritual entity, the object of love, the Suddha Chitvastu, we call Krishna. They could not define God. They could not understand who or what is God. If you read Quran, no description of God's special names, forms, qualities, or pastimes. This is evident from the poetical account of the lovers Laila and Manjum. I've not read that. They refer to ishq either as physical love or on the gross body, or emotional love on the level of the subtle body. They cannot have had any experience of the unadulterated divine love or prema towards Bhagavan. So even in Islam is not that, then how it can be there in Christianity or any other thing? I have never seen this type of prema described in any religious texts of the Muslim teachers. I have only seen it in the Vaishnava Shastras. In the same way, the Muslims use the word ruh. Ruh means soul. But in Islam, again, they have no understanding of the pure soul free from matter. Therefore, ruh for the Islam means the Badajiv, the conditioned soul. I have not seen unadulterated love for Krishna taught in any other religion. Whereas descriptions of Krishna Prema are common throughout the teachings of Vaishnava Dharma. In the second verse of the Bhagavatam, Dharma Prachidavakatava, one should give up all type of cheating dharma. This Bhagavatam only presents the highest truth and rejects all material, pretentious religions. Nonetheless, I have full faith that Sri Krishna Chaitanya was the first to give full instructions on the religion of unalloyed Krishna Prema. Sometimes for preaching tactic, Prabhupada went many places. Oh yes, Jesus was Vaishnava, Muhammad was Vaishnava. Before Mahaprabhu, there was no teaching of Prema. If you have faith in my word, you can accept this conclusion. Okay? So Jaiva-Dharma quite bold like that. Jaiva-Dharma is no attempt at preaching tactic. He's just presenting the philosophy. So when Babaji Sannyasi Thakur heard this, he gave pranam and he said, now my second question. And Babaji answered, creation and formation when applied to the Jiva. Because remember his second question in the beginning? Second question of the Jiva is created, how his Dharma can be called eternal. So Babaji Maharaj said, the speech of this world functions by drawing from material experience. Now, in this world we experience past, present, and future. We experience material time. And material time is connected with material experience and material energy. But in the spiritual world, there is no time. There is only eternal present tense. The Jivas and Krishna exists in the eternal present time. So the Jiva is eternal and ever existing. But the functions of creation, formation, and falling take place under the influence of material time. They are used to describe the Jiva after he is bound in the material world. Since past and future do not exist in the spiritual world, whatever occurs within that spiritual time is eternal present. No, therefore, in reality, the Jiva and his constitutional function are both ever present and eternal. When we use material language, then of course, we're trying to describe something which is eternal. Therefore, Gautam Maharaj gave an example. There was a blind man. Right? And he, of course, blind person cannot see what is white. So the blind man asked his friend, what is white? How can you possibly describe to a blind man what is white? He has no experience. So the man, he said, white is like milk. The man said, what is milk? Sorry. White is like swan. Yes. 7 minutes left. So white is like milk. Milk is like swan. The blind man thinking, what is swan? Not much, it's funny. Then the man did like this, right? Made his hand like a swan. Then the blind man, feeling the swan, if I drink milk, then the swan will get caught in, the milk will get caught in my throat because swan milk is like this, then I'll die. I won't drink milk anymore like this. In the same way, when we try to explain something which is inconceivable, beyond matter and beyond time, we have no other option except to use material language. No? So some fault will be there in language and fault in understanding. So I explained all this to you in words, but the real fact is the reality is beyond words. The more you become free, what I've said is through Chit Samadhi, spiritual meditation. How we can understand the Jiva, where he come from, that is beyond us. The more you can free your mind from material experience, the more you will be able to understand reality. So here is nice instruction, then we finish today. You should first understand your spiritual identity, then chant Harinam. Okay, now we cannot experience our Sarup. We should have strong feeling, I am servant of Gurudev, I am servant of Vaishnava. For conditioned soul, that is spiritual identity. Of course, in perfection, that is also there, but it takes a different form. So first think of your identity, chant Harinam purely. Then the spiritual function, your service, known as Jaiva-Dharma, will be revealed clearly. Spiritual realization and experience cannot be had by yoga system, by Brahma Gyan, or by cultivating knowledge of the impersonal, featureless, absolute truth. The Jiva can manifest his eternal spiritual function only by constantly cultivating activities meant for Krishna's happiness. You should constantly practice Harinam with great enthusiasm. Such practice is true spiritual culture. By chanting Harinam regularly, you'll develop taste for Harinam within a short period of time, and you will directly experience the spiritual realm. Chanting Harinam is the main limb of bhakti, and it gives the quickest result. This is confirmed by Kaviraj Goswami. Bhajane Madhya Shrest, Navavida Bhakti, Krishna Prem, Krishna Dite Dari Mahi Shakti, Tala Madhya Sava Shrest, Nam Sankirtan, Niraparad, Nam Aloyed Taida Premadan. Of all the 9 limbs of devotion, the chanting the holy name is best. If you chant without offense, you get Krishna Prem. Who is a Vaishnav? I will tell you. Someone who gives up all offenses to the holy name and chants with great feeling, that is a Vaishnav. There are 3 categories of Vaishnav. Those who chant sometimes, the Kanishta chants occasionally the holy name of Krishna. The Madhyam chants constantly, of whole cause, but cannot chant when sleeping. And the Uttam Vaishnav, you see them and you chant. No? According to Mahaprabhu's instructions, we do not need any other criteria to discern who is a Vaishnava except their faith in the holy name. Sannyasi Thakur heard this, he gave pranam, he began chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. On that same day, he experienced a natural ruchi for the holy name. Imagine, huh? He's just been in Sangha 2 days. Because he's like dry grass, no desire. So he gets some Sangha, quickly produce result. Gogamaj said, we are like wet grass. So much desire, so much anatta, so much aparad, so much Sangha, so much Hare Krishna, but no result because wet grass. You put a fire in wet grass, no fire. But dry grass, one spark, quickly catch. So you actually read over Jaiva-Dharma, all these devotees, they hear everything, and one day they catch everything. So much samskar they have. But we are little, not so much fortunate like that. But anyway, he did pranam. And he prayed, "Oh Gurudev, friend of the poor, give your mercy to me." Okay, so Jaiva-Dharma ki Jai. This chapter is called "The Nitya dharma of the Jiva is pure and eternal." So this Jaiva-Dharma is very, what's the word? Scientific. Like Bhagavad Gita, 1 to 1 chapter, 1 chapter to 1 chapter. Bhagavad Gita, Jaiva-Dharma like that. 1 step to 1 step. Okay, the day after tomorrow, Chapter 3, Naimittic Dharma is to be relinquished. Request everyone, again, read Chapter 2. Everyone can read 1 or 2 times, today and the next day. And it's fixed in the mind. Sri Thakur Bhakti Vinod ki. Sri Chid Dehi Danda Mahotsav ki. Go Premanandi.